Welcome back to my channel! We'll be discussing about the RCIP program. Kung nanood kayo ng vlog ko before, alam nyo na kung anong status ko dito currently sa Thunder Bay. And everyone knows, very recently, nag-release na ng priority job, knock codes, sectors, ang Thunder Bay and other communities. Okay, so what do we need to discuss here? Because I've been seeing a lot of questions about the process, how are they gonna apply, and all that. So now, rural community immigration pilot, who can apply? Sino nga ba sila? Well, all you have to do is to make sure that you have a valid job offer in this community. So, syempre, dapat may employer ka. So, you have at least 1 year of related work experience in the past 3 years. Ano ba yung mga nakakount na experience in the past 3 years? So, I'm referring to the website just to be sure that I'm not giving you false information. So, I'm here in the IRCC website. Based on the IRCC website, if your job offer is tier 0 or 1, then it means that the experience must be in tier 0, 1, 2, and 3. Alright? Now, if it's tier 2, then the experience or work experience must be in tier 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you are in tier 3 and 4, your work experience must be in tier 2, 3, and 4. So, you can't have tier 1 past experience in the last 3 years. Siguro sinasabi kasi nila pag ganun yung nangyari, overqualified ka na. So, hindi ka na, siguro yun yung dahilan. That's the reason why it wasn't included. Kasi, alam ko nung ni-research ko yung sa RNIP, previously, yung tier 2 and 3 ang magkasama, hindi 3 and 4. So, if ever naman, nasa tier 5 ka, then, your job experience must be in the same 5-digit knock code. So, dapat tier 5. Then, there will be exceptions for healthcare workers. If your work experience is in knock 3-1, which is yun yung mga registered nurse and registered physician, tier 1 category sila, you can have a job offer in one of the following occupation categories, which is yung nurse, aides, and home support workers, which are in home support workers in tier 4 and nurse aide is in tier 3 category. So, yun yung bracketing na nangyari ngayon sa mga work experiences. Now, just to be clear, for work experience exception, if you studied and graduated in the community, ano ba to? Sabi dito, you don't need to meet a work experience requirement if you are international student who graduated from a public post-secondary school in the community with an eligible credential in a program of 2 years or longer. And syempre, dapat nag-aral ka full-time. You got your credential no more than 18 months before applying for permanent resident. You were in the community for at least 16 of the last 24 months while studying. Okay? Dapat di yan paputol-putol. Other one, syempre yung master's degree and higher. Almost the same. Same condition. And then, okay, so that exception will not be applied for those students studying English or French, distance learning, and if you receive any scholarship or something like that. Okay, so that's the exception for the work experience. Now, I mentioned 2 requirements already: valid job offer, work experience, and yung requirements for work experience, and of course, Canadian language proficiency benchmark, CLB. Kailangan na naaayon ang inyong results sa exam ninyo dun sa tier na ina-applyan ninyo. Let's see. So for tier 0 and 1, you should have at least CLB 6 in all 4 categories. May scoring sila na binigay doon. So just look it up. And then tier 2 to 3 or tier 2 or 3, CLB 5. So dapat naka level 5 ka. Kaya nyo na yon. Tier 4 or 5, it should be CLB 4. So yun yung mga language requirements. So that's the third requirements before you can apply. Now the last one, maraming nagtatanong nito kasi they were saying na they don't need to provide funds if they're already working here. They just have to prove that they've been receiving money because they already have an employer working here, so they just have to provide 4 pay stubs or 3 pay stubs, 3 months pay stubs, sorry. So here, it's very clear when I'm reading it, prove you have enough money to support your transition and your family transition into the community. Hindi kasi sinabi na may exceptions for those gray area yon. Hindi siya sinabi na may exception siya kung nagwo-work ka na. Sa federal requirements dito nandito pa lang tayo sa pag-a-apply ng what do you call this? Recommendation for the community. However, someone told me and called me out about this when I was like posting it in Messenger group that I was a member of. When I tried to look into it, she's right actually. It says there that you don't need the funds if you are already working. However, magkaiba kasi ng process yung pagre-recommend sa community part and ibang process yung pag-a-apply ng PR. We will go there. So, yun nga. So sa pag-a-apply pala ng recommendation, it says there that you need to satisfy those 4 conditions. Okay? That you have enough funds. So funding, it's not as much compared dun sa nakikita natin sa, I believe, Express Entry. It's kind of different. So, if you have a family member for 15,000, I think sa other pathway, it's 20-something, or pag student ka, 20-something na ata pag 4 kayo na family. But yeah, so those are the 4 requirements that you must have before you can apply for RCIP. Ano po ba yung process? Paano mag-apply? Okay. So, ang RCIP is a employer-driven program. What does it mean? Hindi natin kontrolado as empleyado ang pagre-recommend sa sarili natin because we cannot apply directly to CEDC. I'm talking about Thunder Bay. And I believe the process is the same thing for other communities as well. So, they said this is an employer-driven program, which means employer will be the one applying for you to RCIP. What does it mean? Employer ang magre-recommend. They will be the one recommending you to be able to participate in this program. Okay? So, paano? I have already an employer. Na-meet ko naman yung experience and I'm still with them. Okay? That's good. So, kung nandito ka sa community, may employer ka na, then you have to ask your employer to designate themselves. It's free. Okay? It's free. But the thing is, there will be paperwork for them that they need to do. They have to do 2 trainings, and then they need to fill up the form, provide justification, why they need the job for that role, and what else? Ilan yung empleyado nila, sa tingin nila, ilan yung nakita ko kasi yung form. So, ilan yung projected employees na kailangan nilang i-hire for this particular role. So, yun yung gagawin ni employer. So, si employer, hindi siya driven or alam mo yun, madali siya makakuha ng tao. Yun nga, hindi siya driven or hindi kanya gusto. Whatever reason. Anong encouragement niya, di ba? Anyways, more on sa mga small business ang nakikita ko na nag-apply kaagad for designations. Yun yung nakikita kong mga list of employers dun sa CEDC website kanina. But when I look it up, yung sa company, I think 2 lang ata yung may hiring. Then the rest of them, wala namang nakapost na hiring sa Indeed. I'm not sure sa job bank. Maybe. Wala sa Indeed, nasa job bank. Who knows? So, yun lang. Okay. Ano pa ba? Ano pa bang mga tanong nyo? Kung may mga tanong kayo, isa nyo lang sa akin sa comment. I'll try to answer them. Or maybe we can have another vlog to address those questions. So, yun nga. So, nasabi ko na si employer magsasubmit, diba? So, if you meet those requirements, yung 4 requirements na sinabi ko kanina, and na-designate, let's say na-designate na si employer, designated na siya ng community, what's gonna happen? Then, you will receive a certification. That certification prove that ni-recommend ka ng community. They accepted the recommendation from your employer. And the next step is for you, ikaw na, for you to apply for PR. So, dun pumapasok yung sinasabi ko kanina about sa funds. Pag-a-apply sa PR, walang nakalagay doon, as long as you're already working here, you have a work, then you don't need to have a proof of fund. Okay? Doon sa part na yon. Pero sa pag-recommend in the community, nakalagay doon na you need to provide proof of funds. Okay? So, yun. Yun. Ano pa ba? Okay. Marami kasing tanong dun sa mga scores. Alam naman natin before, or sa mga hindi nakakaalam, sa RNIP kasi you have to apply that directly to the community website. And then they will have like a score as well specific for those options that you choose. And alam ko ang minimum score is 60. I can't remember. So don't quote me on that. So yeah, but for this program, the requirement is for you to have a minimum of 50 points. Pinakamababa na yon, guys. So, syempre, hindi nyo naman gustong 50 points lang. You want to have more than that. Kasi, pag 50 points lang, parang, paano ka manonominate agad? Madami kang kalaban. Diba? So, let me see if I can get the scoring grid here. Nang malaman natin, ano ba yung maximum points dito? Okay, so there are categories here. Again, for the job, for this offer grade, or for this RCIP na lang, para hindi nalilito. So, job offer, that's 1. You should get 10 to that. Like I said, did I mention it already? You need to have a minimum of 50 points. So, I believe, doon sa mga yon, kailangan, sa 5 items na yon, kailangan may minimum na 10 points ka kaagad na nakuha para ka ma-qualify doon sa RCIP. Kailangan 5 ha. Sa 5. Like, sa 1, 10. Sa 2, category, 10. 3, 4, 5, 10, 10, 10. Then 50 total. Okay, ano ba yung unang-unang tinitingnan? Unang-una, sa job offer. So, if your sector is part of the priority sector, you will have points for that. Okay? Now, if your NOC codes is included in the priority sector, you will get points for that. For those of you asking, paano wala dun yung NOC code ko? You will not have points for that, unfortunately. So, may 3 columns yon: sector, job, and yung wala sa job, priorities, then yung total points. Okay? So, I'll give you an example. So, let's say, in Thunder Bay, si business, finance, admin, sectors have been identified as a priority sector. So, let's say your job is under those sectors. However, your NOC code is not in the priority list. So, kung si yun yung sector na under kayo, you will get 7 points on that. However, you will not get a point if your no codes is not part of the priorities job or priority job. So, hindi ka na kaagad qualified. Kasi 7 points lang yung makukuha mo. Wala kang score dun sa current job mo. 0. Kung halimbawa naman, yun yung pinakamababang makukuha mo eh. Let me see. Yeah, actually, sales and services and business, finance, and admins have the same score. That's 7 points. That's what you can get from those sectors. Now, those are the ones for the sectors na hindi umabot sa 10 points. Guess what? Pag sa healthcare ka, kung ang sector mo nasa health, 10 points agad yun. So, ibig sabihin, pasok ka na dun sa unang criteria, di ba? Hindi mo na po problemahin kung kasama ba yung no codes mo dun sa priority as long as nasatisfy mo yung work experience and everything. Go for the health workers, di ba? Talaga namang priority talaga sila. So, you will get 10 points for that. So, hindi mo na kailangang problema na wala yung no code ko for that. As long as employer mo ma-justify yung reason kung bakit ka kailangan for that position, then go. Ano yung susunod na category? The next category is work experience. Ito na yung kanina in-explain ko sa inyo na kung ang job offer nyo is tier 0 or 1, yung work experience nyo should, fall under those tier codes. Right? So, si tier 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, sorry, si tier 2, yada. So, minention ko na yan kanina. Remind nyo na lang. So, the maximum points, let's see, 1 year full-time work experience in the past 3 years, or candidate is international graduate who qualifies for work experience exemption. Si student, 10 points agad yon. Basta may job offer. Kasama dun sa no code. Kung healthcare, kahit hindi kasama dun sa no code na priorities. So, 10 points. Tapos, kung halimbawa naman, 4 years of full-time work experience na, ito yung mga 4 years mahigit na nagtatrabaho for the same categories. Let's say, sa healthcare na lang tayo para hindi mahirap. So, kung si nursing aid, diba, tier 3 siya, nagtatrabaho na siya as a nursing aid for 4 years, then that will give her additional 25 points. So, 10 points. Kasama naman si healthcare. Kung hindi siya si nursing aid, alam ko kasama naman siya dun sa priority. Let's see. Sino mo kasama dun sa priority health? Registered nurse. Nurse aides, 14 points. So, may 14 points siya dun sa unang category. Plus, kung 4 years na siya, 25. So, ilan na yun, guys? 14 plus 25, 39. Okay. So, 39 points. Sunod na category. Ito na yung sa speaking. Yung mga konyo natin dyan. Mga magaling mag-English. Pero sabi ko nga, kung si nursing aid na lang yung natin, sample natin. So, tier 3 job yon, diba? Ang pinakamataas doon is 8 or higher. Makakuha kang 25 points. Pero kung halimbawang CLB5 lang, kailangan CLB5. Hindi pwedeng CLB4. CLB5, minimum points. 10 points. But still, pasok ka pa rin. So, 39 plus 10, 49. Diba? Next. Sino bang next? Minimum education. Ito na yung pang-apat. So, education. Kung halimbawa daw may Canadian secondary school or foreign equivalent ka na syempre na-assess ng in-assess yung educational assessment mo or credential, sorry. Na-assess yung educational credentials mo, then you will have a minimum of 10 points for that. Kung halimbawa naman is diploma, ang lumabas dun sa assessment mo, you will have 15 points for that. Should be a minimum of 1 year yung certificate mo. Di ba may diploma of 2 years? Tsaka 1 year. So, yun. So, pasok pa rin yun sa 15 points. Kung naman masters ka, pinakamataas na points na yung makukuha mo. 25. Okay? So, what's next? Ang next dito, pang-apat yun, di ba? Pang-lima, yung letter of intent ninyo. So, pagandahan ng sulat ng letter or rason kung bakit gusto nyo magstay dito sa rural community. And there will be additional points, alright, dun sa previous work and education nyo sa community. Kung nagtatrabaho na kayo dito sa community, may additional points kayo daan. So, kung halimbawa, 3 years na kayong nagtatrabaho sa community, ang maximum points nyo, or more, ang maximum points na makukuha nyo dun is 6. And then, yung connection sa community, kung may kamag-anak kayo, nag-volunteer kayo dito, nangungupahan kayo, hindi kayo nakikipisan sa mga kamag-anak nyo, may mamibigay kayo na rental agreement, then may additional points yon. Kung yung asawa nyo nauna dito, may kakilala ako niyan, nauna dito, nag-work, mga 6 months na, may points kayong makukuha for that. Okay? So, anong final judgment here? Like what I said, candidate should have a total score of 50 points. Minimum. With a minimum of 10 points from each category. Sabi sa inyo, each category, di ba? If no, the candidate does not meet minimum eligibility requirements for the pilot. So, too sad, too bad. Hindi kayo qualified. Antay-antay na lang tayo ulit sa susunod na taon and magdasal na mapasama ang ating jobs or knock codes dun sa mga pipiliin or siguro nakita nila. But I guess what you need to do is, kung nandito na kayo, may employer na kayo, encourage your employer to apply for it, for the designation since it's for free. Kasi, yun yung, dun din kasi malalaman ng community, di ba? Kung di sila mag-a-apply, paano malalaman ng community na kailangan pala ng ganitong position dito? Ito pala yung mga kailangan natin din na job para i-improve yung community. Di ba? Kasi, dun sa application na yon, merong survey doon kung bakit kailangan ng company mag-hire ng ganitong tao doon sa company nila. So, yun. So, doon tayo papasok sa emerging. Kasi, meron dito sa scoring grid na emerging needs. So, kung halimbawa sa employer nag-designate, kasi continuous lang naman yung designation ng employer, they will be disqualified only if they didn't meet the priority requirements anymore. Ano yun? If ever na si employer doesn't belong to those priority sectors anymore. So, doon madi-disqualify na sila. Or hindi na magiging valid yung designation nila. Okay? So, yun nga. So, kahit wala yung job knock nyo dun sa listahan, huwag tayong mawala ng pag-asa. Kasi wala rin yung sa akin eh. So, ano na lang, encourage na lang natin yung employer natin na mag-submit pa rin para ma-validate ng community. Oh, marami tayong request, pero wala to dun sa knock code na pinost natin. Kasi guys, maximum of 25 knocks lang ang pwede nilang i-post. So, if you notice, pag pumunta kayo dun sa mga websites ng mga ibang communities, 25 lang din. But, I believe the designation of employer is unlimited. So, ibig sabihin, dadami pa yung listahan. And, sad to say, dun sa mga wala dito, I know it's gonna be difficult for you guys. Kasi, syempre, yung iba, kumbaga, na-earn na nila yung, ano nila eh, yung, paano ba, na-earn na nila yung trust ng mga employer nila. So, kaya, pina-priority nila kung sino yung mga nandun na nagtatrabaho dun sa employer na yun. However, wag pa rin mawawala ng pag-asa kasi, 'di ba? Hindi nga nila yung iba hindi nga nila makuha. And with those restrictions dun sa tier category, si tier 1 di pwede mag-downgrade sa 3, 4, 'di ba? Na tier category na work experience. So kahit na nagtatrabaho na siya dito, kagaya ko, hindi ako pwede mag-apply sa tier 2 kasi hindi ko masasatisfy yung condition ng work experience. Or sa tier 3, sorry. So yun yung parang siguro makakabuti na rin na ma-avoid yung mga fraudulent transactions na mga nangyari before na iniiwasan ng Canada. I know it's not a good thing for us doon sa mga kapareho ko. I've stayed here for long. Actually, 2 years na kami. Magto 2 years na kami dito sa Thunder Bay. And I've been working with my company for more than a year now. Luckily, nakuha ko kaagad yung job na yon. But the thing is, what is not so lucky is hindi ako kasama dun sa mga priority jobs. So, nag-aantay na lang ako ng approval nung husband ko for his PGWP. Actually, hindi pa pala. Mag-a-apply pa lang kami. So, yun lang. So, sana lang, ma-approve. But anyways, so yun, good luck sa ating lahat. And follow my vlog, like and subscribe, so that you will be updated on it for the RCIP program. Okay? Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye for now.